Welcome back, Geordies. Today, I've managed to escape from my wife, who wants me to put stuff back in the fridge, to talk to you about tactics for Newcastle United and what I feel we should adopt to make us much more defensively sound away from home and offer us the offensive creativity that we definitely need. Let's get into it. So basically, guys, at the end of the transfer window, when we brought in Wissa, Voltemade, Ramsey, Chow, Ramsdale, I felt like it left us in a position to start playing a different formation, to start being more progressive and having more opportunity to be less of a one-trick pony. And it hasn't seemed to have gone that way. Basically, Eddie stuck with the 4-3-3 and sometimes even adopted a more defensive structure with 5 at the back. Now, the thing I think that Newcastle need to go away and look at is playing a double pivot, is playing Sandro Tonali and Bruno, or as I would suggest for our next game, Lewis Miley, in a double pivot and leaving an attacking midfielder playing in the 10 role. Now, my suggestion for this would be Jacob Ramsey or Joe Willock. At the moment, I would say Jacob Ramsey edges it. But Joe Willock's performances haven't been bad. He has been probably one of the most progressive players in the team outside of our midfield three of Sandro, Bruno and Joel Linton. Now, this midfield at the moment looks completely washed, and I do believe this is due to the volume of games we're playing. But we look a shadow of our former selves. We look a shadow of the team we were last year at Christmas when we were on our 10-game unbeaten run. And basically what I think Newcastle need to address is being able to play with ball-playing centre-backs and basically leaving ourselves with the most talented passing players on the pitch. Because when you get to that stage where you're no longer the underdog, you're the bigger team, and you need to go in and break teams down. And this is what we're struggling with. Every team that comes up against us now, having followed our form from last season and the season previous, we're assumed to be the aggressor. We're assumed to be the favourite. And now teams will sit in and low block, and we need to learn to play against that. And at the moment, we're still playing like a counter-attacking team with no space in behind. And this is why teams are coming on to us with the high press, catching us off guard, and we're getting turned over. And we haven't looked fluid or progressive or attacking pretty much all season. There are very few games outside of the Champions League. And I would suggest most of the teams that we play in the Premier League are better. They are better sides than we've faced in the Champions League so far, obviously bar Barcelona. Now, the formation I'm suggesting, I've put up on the screen now. This is the lineup that I would like to see. Ramsey obviously playing in goal. Fabian Schär and Chow as centre-backs. I believe these two are our best ball-playing centre-backs. There's an argument to be made for Sven Botman, but obviously at the moment Sven seems a little out of form. And I would prefer to see Chow come in as that left centre-back and Fabian Schär back in as that right centre-back to offer us the options of an outball. Now, basically, I'd suggest Tonali and Miley sit in as 2 6s and Ramsey plays as a 10. And this would give us the ability, when we play the ball forward, not to have to hit Voltemade every time and Voltemade not to be isolated on his own. He'd always have the option to drop that ball back to Ramsey, or for Ramsey to underlap or overlap either of the wingers or play in straight off of Voltemade. This would give us the attacking option to be able to come straight out from defence and break the lines of other teams. Now, the most successful teams in the Premier League that play this system are Brighton, Arsenal and Crystal Palace. They're all on a decent run of form. They're all playing this system. We were turned over by Brighton playing this system. And basically, the role of Ramsey as the 10 to sit in behind the midfield and offer the option to play into the half space. It leaves defences unable to, or centre-backs unable to sit. They either have to come and address the issue of Ramsey sitting in the half space, which will leave more room for Nick Woltemade, or they sit back and it allows Ramsey the option to pass out wide or take a shot from range. So I really think this going forward is the formation that we have to address. When we press forward, it would give us the option to go into a back three. Now, this back three doesn't have to be Trippier, Shah or Chow, with Hall going out to left wing. It could work the other way, that Hall sits back and Trippier goes up the right-hand side. It would be whichever side we press from and whichever side we've got the most, or we're going to get the most joy out with space. Basically, this would allow us the option going forward. When we play the ball out to the wings, there will always be an option to come back to the 6, Miley or Tonali, or inside to Ramsey or Barnes. And this would free the space for Nick Woltemade to be able to drop into the 10 space and for Ramsey and Barnes to push forward as attackers and offer us that option going forward to break down defences. This is a really tough formation to defend against. It offers us so much going forward, and this is where I feel we don't have those options at the moment, breaking down low blocks. But even moving into the defensive role, now I've put this up with Wissa playing up top and Woltemade playing as a 10, and obviously that's something that we might be able to look at once Wissa gets back fit, or even Woltemade coming off and Ramsey or Joe Willock playing in that 10 role. Now, this sort of formation would offer us, on the counter, it would allow us to sit Hall, Tonali, Miley and Trippier in front of that back line as a solid 4, with Chow and Shah being able to be on the cover. This is a really difficult defensive structure to break down, and then it allows you time to get Murphy and Barnes back. The double pivot sitting in deep is key to the defensive structure that I think we will get the most joy out of working away from home. If we move to the last option, and this is just a formation shown to show how we would play out from the back when Ramsdale has the ball. And Chow and Shah are able to move out to the edge of the box to offer the out ball, which spreads the front line. And then Tonali and Miley are able to drop into that central role, which again gives us a back 4. But the out ball then, we have the option to play the ball a little bit further over the top to Hall or Trippier, which then again leaves us on a counter with an overload on the outside. This structure works so well. If you watch Crystal Palace, watch Brighton, watch Bayer Leverkusen from Xabi Alonso, or even watch Arsenal, you'll see this same setup. It's why these teams are able to play out through a progressive high press and still come away with the ball on a counter-attack. The most important thing for Newcastle at the moment is we are able to have more possession than all these teams, and yet we're not able to be creative with it. We're not able to get forward and offer ourselves something up front. Now, I feel like should Wissa come in and hit the ground running and be like the Wissa he was at Brentford last year, it offers us the opportunity to go back to how we played last year and play the 4-3-3. But at the moment, the options we have are limited. And I feel like this is something that Newcastle need to adopt, and adopt quickly, in order to change our run of form. So basically, guys, let me know what you think in the comments. Let me know if you think this is the right tactic to adopt. Let me know if you think Newcastle should change the tactics at all, or whether you think it's just a personnel issue. Obviously, there's big problems at the moment that need addressing, and we need to address them as quickly as possible. The international break is a great time to do some work on the training ground, and I really feel like Eddie and the backroom team need to get something under control, and fairly quickly. So if you've liked the video, guys, be sure to give me a thumbs up, hit the bell notification, hit the sub, hit me up in the comments, and hopefully, guys, I will see you in the next one.